Our phones are like extensions of ourselves. We store personal photos, private conversations, and even financial information on these devices. It's no wonder that privacy and security have become such big deals. No one wants their personal information falling into the wrong hands. Think about it. Your phone knows where you go, who you talk to, and what you're interested in. That's powerful information. Protecting that information is crucial. It's not just about keeping your data safe from hackers, but also about having control over who can access it, including companies and governments. In the end, it's about peace of mind. Knowing your digital life is secure allows you to use your phone without constantly worrying about your privacy being compromised. Apple has built a reputation for being privacy-focused. One of the key ways they do this is through their walled garden approach. iOS, the operating system that powers iPhones, is a closed system. This means Apple has strict control over what apps can be installed and what those apps can access on your device. This control extends to the App Store. Apple has a rigorous app review process that scrutinizes apps for potential privacy violations before they're available for download. This helps to filter out malicious apps that could steal your data. Another core element of iOS security is data encryption. Apple encrypts data on your device by default, making it much harder for unauthorized users to access your information, even if they gain physical access to your phone. Android, developed by Google, takes a more open approach to mobile operating systems. This openness is a double-edged sword. On one hand, it allows for greater customization and flexibility. Users have more freedom to download apps from various sources, not just a single app store. However, this openness also presents potential security risks. With less control over app distribution, there's a higher chance of encountering malicious apps outside the Google Play Store. While Google has implemented security measures like Google Play Protect, which scans apps for harmful behavior, it's still important for Android users to be cautious about the apps they install. Android also offers data encryption, but it's not always enabled by default on all devices. This means users need to be more proactive in turning on encryption to protect their data. Both iOS and Android offer encryption to protect your data. Encryption basically scrambles your information into unreadable code, making it incomprehensible to anyone without the decryption key. Apple has made encryption a cornerstone of its security strategy. iOS devices encrypt data by default, meaning your information is protected from the moment you turn on your phone. This automatic encryption makes it much harder for unauthorized users to access your data. Android's approach to encryption is a bit more complex. While encryption is available, it's not always enabled by default, depending on the device manufacturer and Android version. This means users might need to manually enable encryption in their device settings. Section 5. App Store Antics. A look at permission controls. Both iOS and Android have implemented permission controls to give users more control over what data their apps can access. When you install an app, you'll usually see a list of permissions it requests, such as access to your camera, microphone, or location. Apple has tightened its grip on app permissions in recent years, requiring apps to provide more transparency and obtain explicit consent before accessing sensitive data. For example, iOS apps now need to ask your permission every time they want to access your location in the background. Android has also made strides in permission controls, giving users granular control over what permissions they grant to apps. You can choose to grant or deny permissions individually, and even revoke permissions from apps that you've previously granted access to. Section 6. When security fails, real-world examples of breaches. Even the most secure systems can be vulnerable to attacks. We've seen high-profile security breaches affect both iOS and Android devices, highlighting that no operating system is completely immune to threats. In 2021, a sophisticated spyware called Pegasus was discovered exploiting a vulnerability in Apple's iMessage to gain access to iPhones and extract data. This incident shook the cybersecurity world, as it demonstrated that even a company with Apple's security reputation could be compromised. Android has also faced its share of security challenges. The open nature of the platform has made it a target for malware developers. In 2020, a strain of malware called Agent Smith infected millions of Android devices by disguising itself as a harmless app on third-party app stores. Once installed, it would replace legitimate apps with malicious versions, stealing sensitive information and displaying intrusive ads. Section 7. The privacy verdict. Can we really pick a winner? So which operating system reigns supreme in the privacy showdown? It's not a simple answer. Both iOS and Android have their strengths and weaknesses when it comes to protecting your privacy. iOS benefits from Apple's strict control over its ecosystem, offering a more secure and privacy-focused experience out of the box. However, this control comes at the cost of some flexibility and customization options. Android's openness allows for greater freedom and choice, but it also requires users to be more proactive in managing their privacy and security settings. Ultimately, the best choice for you depends on your individual needs and priorities. Section 8. Beyond the operating system, tips for staying safe. Regardless of whether you choose iOS or Android, there are additional steps you can take to enhance your privacy and security on your mobile device. Strong passwords are crucial. Use a unique and complex password for each of your important accounts, and consider using a password manager to securely store your login credentials. Be mindful of the information you share online. Avoid posting sensitive personal information publicly, and be cautious about the links you click and the apps you download. Keep your software up to date. Both Apple and Google regularly release software updates that often include security patches to address vulnerabilities. Enable two-factor authentication whenever possible. This adds an extra layer of security to your accounts by requiring a unique code from your phone in addition to your password when logging in. Section 9. Making the call, choosing what's right for you. Choosing between iOS and Android is a personal decision. There's no single right answer when it comes to privacy and security. Both platforms have made significant strides in protecting user data, but they each have their own strengths and weaknesses. If you prioritize ease of use in a tightly controlled ecosystem with a strong focus on privacy out of the box, iOS might be the better choice for you. If you value flexibility, customization, and having more control over your device, Android's open ecosystem might be more appealing, though it requires a bit more diligence in managing your privacy and security. Ultimately, the best operating system for you is the one that aligns best with your individual needs, preferences, and comfort level when it comes to balancing functionality and security.